Now that we have gained a very good understanding of what gender is, we are going to move into diversity and its dimensions. Diversity is a very broad topic because it encompasses so many issues. But again, we are going to limit ourselves to dimensions that are very relevant and context specific to our situation as youth in West Africa. It's important to note that the ways that we categorize other people, whether it is black, whether it is white, whether it is African, West African, Christian, Muslim, the list goes on and on. It produces some sort of differentness, stereotypes, and also creates some social distance. And sometimes our perceptions may or may not be accurate, and other times too, it may or may not be appropriate. And it's important that we educate ourselves about some of these issues. Now, once we are abreast or we are conversant with the issues that concerns diversity, it will give us an opportunity or prepare us for a lifelong learning. And it also will give us some skills to help us to be engaged in our society. As I already indicated, diversity is broad. It cuts across from religion to gender, age, culture, race, ethnicity, as we can see in this diagram. Now, what is diversity? Diversity means many things to many people. But I got this very interesting illustration of what diversity is all about. Permit me to read verbatim this particular text, which I took from Inclusion, the book and video catalog. It says that many cultures contribute to the richness of our world community. Just as every culture has time-honored traditions that make its heritage unique, each of us has individual qualities and characteristics that makes us special. Let us learn more of one another. In knowledge, there is understanding. Where there is understanding, there is respect. And where there is respect, growth is possible. What is this particular definition educating us on? It's important that we get to learn about other people who are different from us, who are different from us in terms of our religion, who are different from us in terms of our culture, who are different from us in terms of maybe even our profession or where we find ourselves in. Now, three key things stand out in this particular definition. It says that where there is knowledge, there is understanding. So if you have a very good knowledge, or you are well educated about a particular culture, a particular group, a particular situation, you understand this person better. And now, where there is understanding, you respect the person. So if you understand how the person is behaving, you understand the person better. So if you find out that a Muslim female has put on a hijab, you would not say that, oh, this person does not follow fashion. But if you know that this is something that is expected of the Muslim, the Islam religion, then you would respect this person's appearance. And it says that where there is understanding, there is respect. And where there is respect, growth is possible. It means that we'll all learn to live together as one people in a community, and then we'll be able to work together as one people. Now, again, moving on to facilitate our understanding of diversity. We are located in different networks. whether it is religion, whether it is ethnicity, whether it is class, nationality, ability, and disability. And as I said earlier, diversity means different things to different people. For some, it means tolerance, acceptance. For some, it means numbers, whether it is racial or gender differences. Others see this as a code word for affirmative actions or laws designed to ensure representation of minority groups. But it's important to note that diversity includes everyone. We are all different. If you look at this image here, you find people, you find a woman, you find a child, you find people who are with a disability, you find people with different professions. So it means that everyone is different. You can't have the same people. Even twins are different because they grow up and they have different tastes. People even who grow up from the same family are different. So diversity refers to all the ways in which different people and with cultural differences interact. So it is considered as a wide range of difference among people, families, communities based on their cultural and ethnic backgrounds as well as physical and academic ability. So in short, diversity includes whatever we think distinguishes us. So looking at the dimensions of diversity, it could be where you work, your job function, it could be your age, it could be education, it could be your sexual orientation, it could be class, it could be work experience, culture, language, the list goes on and on. Okay, now it's important to think of some key points in diversity. Dimensions of diversity may be hidden or visible. What do we mean by this? As we are seated here, somebody may have a different sexual orientation that you may not know. Somebody may be of a different religious faith that you may not know. Somebody may be a doctor and may not necessarily have a stethoscope around him or her. Somebody may be visually impaired, but because a person may not be holding a white cane, you may not know. So it's important that we always bear in mind that diversity may be hidden. At the same time, too, diversity could be visible in the way we dress. So if you see a Roman father dressed, you would know immediately that this is a Roman father. If you see a Muslim dressed, a female with a hijab, you know that immediately this is somebody who shares the Islamic faith. So the first thing we need to remember is that diversity may be hidden or visible. Now, the next point is dimensions of diversity are found within groups as well as within individuals. So you could go to a particular setting and you find a group of people. And even amongst that group, you find out that there are many things that distinguishes them. You could have a classroom full of maybe 40 students, but you realize that maybe they are from different nationalities, they are from different socioeconomic class, they may be from, have different religions, they may even have different culture, they maybe have different languages, although they may all speak English, but they may have different languages that they speak. So even though you have a group of people, you can find diversity within a group and as well as within individuals. So as we are seated in a place individually, people may have certain distinguishing characteristics that differentiates them from other people. Now, we say that dimensions of diversity are not always clear or easily defined. Sometimes till somebody talks about something, you may never know that perhaps this person shares a particular faith, or perhaps this person is of a particular profession, or perhaps this person is of a particular socioeconomic class. So somebody can be in the upper class in society and dress modestly or even interact modestly, that you may not even know or associate that person with that particular class. So it's important to know that sometimes dimensions of diversity are not always clear and easily defined. Now, dimensions of diversity are in constant states of flux, which means that they keep on changing. And people may go in a particular context and decide that, well, when you are in Rome, you do what the Romans do. Sometimes our upbringing or the particular context that we find ourselves in, maybe the friends we associate with or the profession that we associate with, causes us to adopt certain dimensions of diversity. So it's important that we note that the state of diversity that we have may not always be static, but they can change. Now, the final one is dimensions of diversity interrelate. So you can find somebody who may be a woman or a man, maybe a Christian, maybe a nurse, may speak a Yoruba language or may speak a Ghanaian language, may be of a social class, may be a Christian. So you realize that there are many different forms of diversity which is associated with a particular individual or a group. So if you have these key points in mind, remember what the definition that we read at the beginning told us. Once you have knowledge about somebody, it gives you understanding. And once you have an understanding of who that person is, you tend to respect that person. And once you respect that person, it means that we can all live in harmony in a particular community and promote growth. So these key issues are very critical for us to note as youth in our African context. Now, this is a very important activity that we all have to embark on. We call it, what do you know or what have we heard? More often than not, we tend to have so many stereotypes about people that we may not even have met. But we have our own assumptions and beliefs about them. So in this activity, I want you to think about what you know or what you have heard about the various groups that I have here. So teenagers, Catholics, Jews and Arabs, Muslims, West Africans, wealthy people, poor people, nomads, Christians, people with a physical challenge, and then people with HIV or AIDS. So I want you to take each one of these categories that I have listed, or dimensions or characteristics of, or the various diversity groups that I have listed here. What have you heard or what do you know about them? So think of the things that you know. So for example, what do you know about wealthy people? You may say that, well, wealthy people always drive good cars, or maybe you'd say that wealthy people are very proud. Okay. Now, the next question is, what do many of the comments you have written on the list represent? So when you have outlined what you know of what you have heard, the next thing is, what do these comments represent? Are they facts or are they stereotypes? Are they things that are known about them, or are they stereotypes? That is, are they assumptions that you yourself have made about these people? And where did they come from? So think through them. Did they come from maybe books that you read, or communities that you grew up, or you read it on the news? So I want you to go through this exercise. The underlying intent of this particular exercise is to help us to move beyond stereotypes and actually move towards facts, so that if we know that what we are saying about someone is not is a stereotype, then we desist from saying it unless we are sure that this is truly a fact about teenagers, about Catholics, about Muslims, about wealthy people. Remember what we discussed at the beginning. It's important that you gain knowledge about someone, a society, a group, a profession, or a form of diversity. Once you gain knowledge about them, you will understand them. Once you understand them, it will help you to respect them. And once you respect them, you live in harmony and you promote growth. So this brings us to the end of our diversity session.